everyone. My name is Mahi, and welcome back to Candid Talk, the show where we look at the invisible behind the visible. This is our first episode back from the holidays, so Happy New Year. So, my guest today has a very, let's say, interesting story to share. A lot of times in our life, we were faced with challenges that change us completely as a person, whether we like it or not. And my guest today will be sharing her own personal journey of overcoming her struggle with strength and resilience. And to talk about that and more, let's welcome Miss Shabnam to our show.
Thank you so much for having me on this show, and it's a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you for being here. So, how are you doing today? How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. I had a long day, though it is a half day, but still a little tiresome.
How was winter break for you? How was New Year's holidays?
Winter break, I had been back home to Mumbai for a short break with my family, to be there, my brother's family. And then I came back by 30th to be here for the New Year with my family here, my son. So we had a great time. We went to Ras Al Khaimah, to Marjan Islands, to watch the Guinness record fireworks, the drone show. It was awesome.
So do you ever set like New Year's resolutions for yourself?
I never used to, but then recently have started doing that because life has taught me many things. And now I started taking care of myself more. And that is my resolutions every year, to take care of my well-being, my health. So unless and until I am healthy, how will I take care of my family? So,
exactly. That's a good thing. So what is it that you do like in your downtime to like for yourself? If you spend alone time, what is it that you do for yourself?
Resting.
Okay.
Being teachers, because when we are home, we do rest. Because at school, we have to stand a lot. So we get tired. So resting, relaxing, cooking. I love cooking. I'm not a very voracious eater, but I love to cook for others.
Oh,
So I'm an awesome, like someone, all my friends, colleagues, and relatives, they say.
what's your favorite cuisine to cook?
Anything for that matter. North Indian, South Indian, all the things.
Do you get enough sleep?
Yes. In between recently, I wasn't able to because of I had this bout of virus. When I was in Mumbai, I caught that. So the vacation wasn't that very awesome because I was down with fever, then had to take antibiotics. Because of antibiotics, now still you can hear the effects of that. So it's almost a month now. Still, I have not recovered fully from the the irritating cough in between and headaches.
It's flu season, everyone's
Yeah,
getting.
everyone.
So I ask that because I'm still young. I'm at that age where I stay up way past my bedtime till like sometimes 2, 3 a.m. Were you ever like that when you were a kid?
No, not at all, because our times were different. Maybe you will call it as ancient times. But we had proper bedtime rules because I come from a family that my mom and dad both were working. So we had to get up in the mornings because I have to go to school. Mom has to go to, she was a teacher. Now she's retired. My dad he was working in the Bhilai steel plant. So it was like a routine life. We had a disciplined life. And of course, I feel that has helped me in my career also to be very disciplined.
Is there anything from back when you were younger that you still carry with yourself to this day? Any like small personality trait or idiosyncrasies?
Of course. You can call me a fanatic when it comes to cleanliness and orderly things.
Oh, okay.
I'm very organized and I like that. And my students might be thinking that I'm a strict disciplinarian, but I believe that discipline is important because with discipline, everything falls into place.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did you have to learn discipline growing up, like on your own? Like if you want something, discipline is very important. So was there any challenges that you had like that?
Of course, like being a child, like who wants to be? You also wouldn't love to be very much into a disciplined thing, right?
That's
No,
not,
of course
not
not.
all the time.
Yeah, even as kids, we also had the similar childhood, though it was the times were different. We had to depend more on our parents' wishes, follow their dreams. Now you have so many options, but those times it was either being a doctor or an engineer. So at times we wouldn't get the chance of living the life we wanted.
So,
But
yeah.
now I can say that after all these years, I've been given a second chance to live that life. So that's an important thing that I value so much.
Were you ever like that where you followed your parents' wishes? Like you said, you're into art and you were English teacher for many years. And you said that being an art teacher, it's like a part of your dream life because that's what you wanted to do. Did you have that support growing up, going into art, or were you wanted to do something else?
No, definitely not. When those times, I wanted to follow, if you have heard, maybe you not have heard, there was 𝐂𝐚𝐧𝐝 University, even if it is now there in Madhya Pradesh. That has all the, you can study into all the fine arts, performing arts and all that. Maybe painting, or it can be sculpture, it can be music, it can be dance, all those faculties were there. So I was in awe of that while in school. So I wanted to pursue that, but being a very good student and scoring high marks, so definitely my parents wanted me to pursue science. So I pursued science, but I did science till 12th. But on the way, I don't know how, I just lost interest. I had appeared for the MBBS entrance examinations and all that. I didn't fare well, and I was happy about it. Yeah, but then we can't say that much openly. Like our life was quite different from what you people now, this young generation is living. Because we all, like I told you earlier, we had to follow our parents' dream as such, mostly.
So their dream till the end was for you to
Yeah.
get.
So when I changed, and especially because I never wanted to be a teacher because my mom was a teacher. That's a very ironical statement, you might say. But unlike doctors will not like have no doctors' children wouldn't like to be doctors, engineering, like IT professional. Those children who have IT professionals as their parents, they wouldn't like to pursue that because the life they see, when you see the life of the person, like your parents like that, you wouldn't like to pursue that. So I never wanted to be a teacher as such. But in graduation, I took up English literature, and then I was interested into it. Then with my friend, my close friend, my best friend, we said that okay, let's do B.Ed. So it was just a fluke of doing the B.Ed to be together, to enjoy the hostel life for 1 year. So that's how I ended up in doing B.Ed. But while doing B.Ed, everything changed. The perspective of being a teacher, how you affect or you are a reason for change in children, that changed my outlook. And that's how I became more passionate about being a teacher. And before my results were out of B.Ed, I was into teaching. So right from 1995, I have been teaching, not with a gap of any 1 year in between.
Wow. Was your dad upset that you went with your mom's profession instead of his?
No,
Anything
no,
like
no,
that?
definitely no, because my dad is a very, of course, for every girl, the dad is the most favorite person, and you adore him. Same thing with me as well. How much ever you grow, still your dad will be your hero. So this is what he is a very patient person, very patient. The way he deals with things, any arguments or anything, he will do very patiently. I've learned a lot from him. Though I have taken my mom's characteristic of little argumentative, because that becomes a teacher's way of dealing things, because that is also a way of our life. So I have the mix of both of them. So I think that is the best combination.
Yeah, that is. Yes, it helps. It certainly helps.
Yeah.
So, what helps you get inspired and like with creativity and things? What gets your like juices flowing, creative juices?
Yeah, like when last year when my head of school and head of like our principal, when they approached me for being the art teacher, I was in for a surprise because I never ever thought that I would ever have the chance to live that dream of being dealing with art completely. But then, like I told, my life has had some ups and downs. Because of that, when I believe strongly that when God puts you into some situations, when He takes you out of that, He paves way for you to make your life easy. So, being the art teacher, in a way, it has been easy for me because, okay, I deal with year 3 to 6, 21 classes because one lesson in a week for them. I teach 600 plus students. Remembering names is Herculean task. Still, I would say I struggle with the names. Of course, we remember the naughty ones' names. And favorite artists and all that. No? So we know, we remember them. That is the challenge of this, but at the same time, I don't have the bookmarking. I don't have the class teachership. All those extra duties that come with that, I do not have. So it has come as a blessing, and I'm living my life of enjoying art, and I'm learning too. Because I basically I was into more of portraits and pencil sketchings and all that. Now I'm learning painting also, and I'm enjoying that. And I have transformed our school's corridors, primary corridors. I would sometimes share with you. The ceilings tiles have been painted by students, year 6 students. So the whole primary corridor, now the ceilings are all painted. That looks awesome. And the children are so in awe of it. And looking at that, I feel so happy.
Do you think art brings out a different side of people, like especially children at such a young age? Do you think it helps them completely bring out a new side of themselves that usually academics kind of hinders at times?
Of course, art is like an escape, you can say. That lesson is basically we do when we are teaching. It's not that you are just giving them some paper or pen or draw and color, but we have to teach them skills also. Developing the skills and trying to teach them the right direction for painting and all that. So for that, I also am learning and I'm teaching. So it is enjoyable for me. It's an everyday, it's a challenge, of course, but I'm enjoying it. But of course, children do look forward, and that's what makes me like feel so special. Especially the year 3s, they are the little ones, those who came just from the early years. In the corridors, Miss Shabnam, we have the art lesson today, don't forget. That makes my, like, okay, I will never forget. Because they don't want to miss it. So it makes me feel, and the feedback from the parents also is quite awesome. So it keeps me going.
Do you think kids are comfortable with sharing their own like personal struggles or anything with you?
Yes, of course, the children have been so very, because I'm part of the well-being team in our school. So for the students as well as for the staff. So students are very open with us. So we are open with them, so students also. So I basically teach in the primary, but being the part of the well-being team and all, I go across to the secondary as well.
Yeah.
So it's the whole school development things that happen.
So what was like your first time dealing with kids? You said you've dealt with kids from all ages and grades and stuff like that. What was like your first time dealing with them, and any like memorable stories that you have?
Yes, of course. My first job after like completing my B.Ed, I got the first job, and I had to teach year 10s.
Okay.
But the thing is that I was teaching in a small township. It was a L&T cement factory, so it was a small township, and there was a school. The school is meant for the students of only those families who are there. So I had just 5 students in year 10, and in year 9 I had 7 of them, and in so 8, 9, 10 I used to teach. So that was my first initial, what to say, approach towards this profession. And being with the students of that age, and I was just a fresher out of college,
So
it
kind
was
of
more of a
yeah.
friendly relation. And that created a bond with us, and that they are still in touch with me. They are parents now,
Wow.
but they share with me everything. Like during our awards time, when I had shared, they were saying, "Oh, ma'am, we will be voting for you." I said, "Yeah, of course, thank you so much." So they were like so very excited about it. So I still am in touch with them. That's what makes this profession so special, that you make difference in people's life, and throughout it stays.
That's true. So you told me you were a biology student up until you finished high school.
Yeah.
I mean science stream. I was thinking of something else. So I was actually curious to know. It obviously includes biology as well, and things get a little serious when you go up into higher grades. Did you ever have to do those like dissect?
Of course, earthworms, cockroaches. We used to dissect everything all those times. Yeah, use exactly the experience. But then when we are learning, it's part of it. Till 12th, I didn't mind all that. And then in graduation, I took up BSc Physics, because physics was my favorite subject. But somewhere in the first year, I lost weight somehow, and then I dropped. In fact, I stopped going to college. I convinced my parents that I can't go ahead. I'll give it a try for medical again, entrance. So I had a gap of 1 year between. But then again, when I didn't fare well, then I said, no, nothing to do with science. I'll take up literature.
Did you ever have to deal with like cadavers or anything like that, or you just never got to that point?
I never.
Do you think you could have handled it?
Of course, why not?
Oh, wow.
Because everything we will be able to handle. Life teaches you. Don't worry, you are not there yet. No. When you grow up and when you face things and all, life makes you strong.
So I'm currently in university. Do you have any memorable stories from back when you were in university, you were young and, having fun and whatnot? Anything that
Yes.
you still remember? Yeah.
So some I can share, some I cannot.
Okay.
Because we were a gang of students, such working classes.
Nice.
We used to have, the huge classrooms where for the English level, like we were English literature, BSc physics, BSc. It was honors degree there, back home in Kerala. So the classes had only 20 children like that. So the English classes were a combined class. It was a big, huge room. There were doors from the front and the back. We used to sit in the back row, take the attendance, slip out. And once, like, we had a gang of 4 girls. So, and 3 of us were still now we are together. One is in Mumbai, one is in Kerala, and I'm here. So we had bunked and we were going towards a ladies' room. We landed right in front of the principal.
Oh.
And he knew we had complaints already. But then we got away with that because we were the toppers.
Wow.
So we always got away with all our mischiefs.
So did your parents ever find out that you like bunk classes?
No.
Oh.
Maybe not.
But they
won't mind, because where I am now, and when even after all those things, I scored well. So, like in the masters, I was rank holder in the university. So, second rank holder. So, yeah, life has been a lot of things happening. I was not a very studious person. Maybe you think, looking at my personality, maybe you might be thinking that, okay, very studious, a nerd type of person, reading and all that. Yeah, I was into reading. I love reading.
Do you have any favorite authors and books?
Authors and all? I don't have a favorite author, but I used to love Reader's Digest.
Oh, I
That
remember.
were my favorite. And I had a meltdown when I had collected all. Whenever I travel by train, because college, hostel, and all that, no, going home, throughout I used to buy only Reader's Digest. And I had a huge collection.
Mm.
And I used to value that. And I used to keep. And when I came off to uh, Kuwait after my marriage and all that, and one time when I went back, the books were in there. My mom sold it off.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my goodness, how can you, mom? You should have asked me because there is nothing like Reader's Digest. And the Reader's Digest, recently I bought and they were not of that caliber. So they were my favorite magazines.
Have you read like Archie comics?
Of course, and Archie's Tintin.
Tinkle. Have you read the Tinkle?
Tinkle, of course. Because we used to have like, I will tell you, this reading habit has been inculcated in us by our parents. So they used to buy us a lot of comics. So during school times, Phantom, Mandrake, you might not even have heard of it. 𝐬𝐤𝐥𝐤 Chowdhury.
Oh, I know 𝐬𝐤𝐥𝐤 Chowdhury. I love it. That's my favorite.
In English as well as in Hindi, Tinkle. And Archie's, of course. That's for when it, like when we were into university and all that, those after 9th and all that, Archie's comics and all that. And then, those days even the cartoons were different, no? So not like the recent ones. So life was quite different. You never imagine how it was without mobiles.
Yeah, that's hard to imagine now, but yeah. Anyways, so as I said in the beginning, you've had your own set of like personal struggles. What moment was there in your life that just like sort of stopped time and like changed everything for you, where you had to just like,
Yes, I had an exact time, 2018, in July. So that was the time when I was diagnosed with malignancy. Though I was an very much aware person from 2012, I have been doing a regular, because 40 plus ladies should be always checking themselves and all that. So I was a very aware person. I used to do regular checks, mammograms, everything, every single year. But 2018, suddenly, I was diagnosed. Yeah, of course. I'm also human. Of course, these things like cancer is the word itself is so scary. That is what makes it so extra scary. And more than me, the people around me, my family, my parents, how it affected them. Then my son was very strong support for me. Even now I have only one son. He's a 22-year-old now. He just left me before he went for his job. So he's a strong support for me, even now. He never, thought of me like, Mom, you are going through something, like you are not well. No, never. He used to make me feel strong. There is nothing. He will come out. So he stood by me throughout. But, that's not the same thing. That's the new generation takes it very easily. But the older generation, like my uncles, aunts and all, because I was a favorite in the family. So they were all devastated. So my aunt, who was a doctor, who is a doctor still, Karen. So she's the one I had gone to her hospital and then all this has happened. I had the full mastectomy is done. Then chemo, radiation, everything. But then after my surgery, when all of this extra love, extra sympathy and all those things, no? So my aunt said, better you go back to Dubai. When you are alone, you will fight it better. And her words were right. Because back home here, I fought alone. I had to go for the chemotherapy. 𝐤𝐤𝐥𝐤 hospital was my hospital till now. Because my cancer is hormone positive. So this is my 5th year of remission, and also taking medicines. So another 3 to 4 years of medicine to be taken for not having a reoccurrence. So that is it. So still going with the battle. But the major part of the battle, like surgery and all that is done. So when it was, like you said, when I was diagnosed and the result came, it hit me very strongly, like, but I never cried or lamented that why me. I never asked that question because when life doesn't give you a choice, you cannot think that it was a life or death matter. So of course you will choose the better one. And I choose to struggle. I choose to fight against it. And here I am.
So when all this happens, it's usually always like the people around me were feeling so and so and so and so, and it's like their emotions can scare you sometimes
Of course.
because it's overwhelming.
Yes.
But how did you deal with it personally? How did you fight it? Like what was going on in your head?
That was me and me alone. I was fighting. When I was alone, I had all those thoughts, but I never brought it out in front of others because my parents were there throughout with me. They had flown down here for the chemo time because chemo is not painful, but it's a very, very hard. I wouldn't even think of even my enemies to have that because that's a very, very strong treatment. So, and with that loss of hair, on all those emotional things that comes, that's a baggage with it. And you have to deal with that. So, emotionally, of course, I have become more vulnerable, you can say, because easily prone to crying and all that for small, small things it can happen. But at the same time, another aspect of me is that I'm a very strong person. That I can fight. I can fight in the sense of fight for myself or for someone. I always, I'm a team player. So my job is something that has kept me going. So I just look forward, though it is a very Herculean task, like every morning to get up from the bed to go, because the side effects of chemo and the medicine I'm taking is taking a toll on the bones. But that's the initial hiccup. Then once I get up and I go to school, then I forget everything. But once I am back home, again all those pains, because students do have a balming effect on your feelings and everything to soothe you. So of course, art, being the art teacher, it also helps.
So when you realize that you've beat cancer, and you, like you said, you got a second chance at life, what has that, like being a survivor, what has it taught you about your life, and how have you changed from that whole experience?
Drastic change. I'm now thinking about myself also, because I never used to do that. I used to overdo things, like overexertion, overdo and everything. But now I value more that I should take care of my health, take care of myself. So if there's anything, I approach my doctors and all that. That is there. Secondly, one, in British Got Talent, are you a fan of it?
Yeah.
So once a young girl named Birdie, did you see that?
I think so, yeah. I think I know what
she was a cancer patient,
okay.
But she was undergoing very strong treatments when she had come there. So she had sung a very original song that is okay. So that song is there with me, and the words that she spoke is that when the doctor told her that you have just 2% chances of survival, she said 2% is not 0%. So I'll fight for it. That is one profound thing. And also she said that you don't have to wait till the life isn't hard anymore to live your life. That's a very, very strong statement that she has made, because we always do that. We take life for granted. We never enjoy life in the sense like, okay, in our job, in our family, because being a lady, we put others first, our family first, and then the job. So, but now I am taking time out for myself also.
That's so how did, after that, once you were in remission and things started working out for you, how did you like heal yourself, like mentally and physically, after all these years? And what are some things that you still do to keep yourself like in check?
I take time to proper rest, because Earlier, as I told you, like you said, like you stay up late, but we used to teach us as teachers, we have to stay up working.
Yeah.
So, but now I made it a point that once I'm back home, minimum laptop work, minimum work, whatever work is there, I try to finish in the school. And unless and until it's very much important, weekends also I don't carry work home. Unless and until it is important. Of course, we can't avoid that. So taking time out and the weekends, now this is also a sort of like uh, away from the stress that I'm talking to you. I feel like that. So this session itself is also a very exciting one. In the sense, in my life, it is something that is happening for the first time, but at the same time, which I would value because talking with you has been very much comforting.
Oh, wow. Thank you. So how has, like, throughout this whole thing, how has art or anything creative helped you sort of express yourself? Even when you can't talk to like people around you about how you're feeling, how have you channeled creativity to like express yourself?
Uh, I have to, because at my no those time when I was undergoing chemo and these are words which we already know. They're scary, but going through that is a different experience. And that time I didn't have anyone to guide me, or I didn't meet anyone whom I can speak with what they were undergoing. So and I never used Google because it is more scary.
Enemy of
So I used to just blindly follow my doctor and my nurse team. They are the angels because of whom I am here. So that's how I had a strong belief in them, trust in them, and that made me stronger, I feel. Because I never, not even for a moment, I have felt, why should I be suffering from this? I always say that God gives the strong, like most difficult fights to those
strongest.
whom He feel can fight it through. So there's something good in everything.
Yeah.
And now I am a changed person. That's the good that has come out of this.
That's a good thing, yeah. So I have one last question for you. What is something that you wish to do for yourself, something that's been like on your bucket list for a long time that you wish to achieve or do?
Right now, if you ask me, I don't have anything because I feel, because I don't live in the future. I take one day at a time. This day is gone, okay, fine. The next day is a blessing. So I don't, because earlier I used to have a lot of dreams, lots of wishes. And when this thing, like in 2018, what happened? So I stopped myself living in the future, not planning too much. I said, let everything flow the way it is. And I'm enjoying every moment of my life.
So before we wrap things up, do you look into the camera and just say anything you want to say, any message or whatever you want to say?
Live your life, enjoy your life, and value what God has given, and make the most use of it.
It's good advice. So that brings us to the end of our episode. Thank you so much, Shabnam, for sharing your story.
And thank you so much for having me here on this Candid Talk. It's my pleasure.
And thank you all for watching. And if you liked this episode, thumbs up, subscribe, be nice. And I will see all of you in our next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.